Get your popcorn ready. I got another banger for you guys. Welcome to the Mr. Bubbles channel, where we give pressure washing business advice to beginners. And in today's episode, we are doing a wooden deck together, a painted wooden deck. And it's actually one of the questions we get the most on the Mr. Bubbles channel is how we tackle painted decks. Now, I am having to move the furniture here, but in a second, I'm going to put it on time lapse for you guys. And the reason why we're moving the furniture is because this deck is actually an upsell for us. We were here, Jamie and I, to do the deck and also a small walkway. We upsold the walkway and the deck. In total, the job total, $899, guys. So we upsold this for $389. So it's something we preach a lot on the Mr. Bubbles channel. Make sure you're going out there and you're upselling. So you saw me move the furniture. We're going to walk you through the process of how we deal with a painted or stained deck. But before we do, I want to talk about how we picked up this customer. And how we did is this customer actually saw a yard sign at another house that we did in the neighborhood. So in our yard signs, guys, by the way, when we put them on people's lawn, the design on there, it says this house was professionally washed by Mr. Bubbles and so forth. So make sure you got that on your signs. Highly recommend that. So here you have it. So I'm actually, what I'm doing here is very simple. So this deck has a lot of outdoor organics, but nothing super crazy. Has some algae, a little bit of mildew. It had like 2 or 3 spots where it had mold, and that's where the pump sprayer comes into play here, because I got a 3% solution inside that pump sprayer. It's 2 gallons of it, and I am doing what's called spot treating, because you're going to see here in a second how I'm going to pre-treat this deck really is with my house mix. But the house mix is not strong enough to get things like mold, or this deck here didn't have any lichen bacteria, but if it did, like, house mix is not going to do anything against that. But so the toughest spots on the deck, the toughest bacteria, I hit with this little jug here, and there's some hot sauce in there. Again, it's a 3% mix just for spot treating. But really, how we do 99.99999% of our painted wooden decks is you're just going to downstream it. You're going to downstream it, and you might have to downstream it like you would a house. You might have to downstream it twice to get rid of that bacteria. And that is the point here. And that's what you see me doing on screen now, is I am applying the house mix. Again, we use a 50-50 mix. Again, guys, I know you guys are concerned that, oh, the SH is going to ruin the wood. When you're using a 50-50 mix, by the time that thing works its way down the line, which is getting diluted because of our pressure washing pump, you're looking at a 1.2, 1.3 that is coming out of that gun. Guys, that's not strong enough to damage wood, or to to mess up the stain or the paint that is on said wood. So you guys can go out there with confidence. Again, guys, we're doing like 70, 80 decks a month, and a lot of them are painted. And 99.9999999% of the times with painted decks, this is exactly what you're going to do. You're just going to hit it with your house mix. You might have to hit it 1 or 2 times. Let that solution sit and kill all the organics that are growing and feeding on that paint or that stain. And then you're going to see me on the next phase here. We're just going to come and we're going to pressure wash this, then finally just rinse it down. And that's the bottom line. Nothing super complicated about it. Now, do not soft wash painted or stained decks with extremely high levels of SH, and I would say 5% or higher, because you run the risk of messing up that stain. And then also, we've talked about this before, you would have to use some kind of bleach neutralizer in the end, because you can't leave that stuff on wood, especially if they're going to repaint it, because it's going to mess up the paint. And that's what you see me doing here now. Again, about 15, 20 minutes had gone by, and in that time, I was actually pressure washing that little sidewalk that I told you about. And you see how clean the deck now looks. But I'm just coming through and I am rinsing off all of the dead debris that was left over from the organics that was killed by the solution. And I've talked about this technique before, guys. Crack, crack, middle, crack, crack, middle. You want to make sure you hit those cracks, because in a case here, and it's the case with a lot of these decks, guys, is the cracks in between the boards will be so jam-packed with dirt and grime. And in this case here, he had a lot of leaves. You see the trees in the back there? And so there was no way for the water to get out of the deck. So pooling water eventually is going to lead to, algae and mildew and all kinds of stuff. So I'm cleaning out the cracks. So the water can flow off the deck real good. And then you see how clean the board's coming off. And again, I'm not really pressure washing it. You see how far away I am there, guys? I am a good 9 inches away from the board. You don't want to get too close with your pressure tip, because you run the risk of not just scarring up the wood, but removing the stain and or paint. And so you can see here again, guys, my objective here is just to get rid of the dead debris left behind by my solution. And by the way, man, the owner here of this house, when we finished this job here, oh my God, he was so happy with how the deck came out. He gave us a $80 tip, guys. And that's what you want to do. You want to make sure you take care of these customers. So, they're giving you guys really, really good tips. I think I mentioned this on the other episode. Jamie, for example, right now is averaging about $180 a week in tips. So make sure you're going out there and you're doing high quality work for people, because they will tip you and you will get that extra money that helps with gas and food and all kinds of stuff. But anyway, I digress. The point here, guys, is do not worry about putting your house mix on painted decks, because again, the solution simply is not strong enough to damage anything. Just make sure, like we always talk about, plant protection and all of that. And by the way, we send our customers a pre-house wash checklist. If you guys want that, if you guys, you're interested in seeing what that looks like, I can email you that. Of course, you guys already know that my email is in the description below, but email me and I can send you our marketing blueprint. I have a lot of great things that will be a resource for you guys, like our sales pitch that we use and all of that. But anyway, the point here, guys, is with this deck, you want to make sure that you rinse it thoroughly, that you get all of that solution off, all of that gunk, that grime. You don't leave anything on there, and it's going to look brand spanking new for you. And every single time, I promise you guys, when you run into painted decks, you just downstream it. You downstream it, with your house mix, and it's going to come right clean. And then you just rinse off that dead debris, and it's going to be good to go. Oh, and I'm so excited about this, guys. My next episode, let me talk to you a little bit about my next episode. So the next episode, episode 78, we're going to be doing a deep dive into the 12 skill sets that you need in order to not just succeed but thrive in a pressure washing business. I mean, pretty much in every episode that I do for you guys, I talk about this, that it's not your equipment that makes you money. It's your skill sets, right? The more you know, the more you'll make. And so, I'm going to actually break down for you, when I say the word skill sets, what it is exactly that, what I am talking about. So this is going to be a really, really good one. I think it's going to be one of my best videos ever, to be honest with you, because it's going to really point you guys in a very specific direction. But guys, the next episode is members only. If you are not yet a member of Mr. Bubbles channel, I highly recommend you hit that join button at the bottom. Guys, $5 a month. It's basically your fee, your tuition fee for a trade school. So I highly recommend you join the Mr. Bubbles team so you can have access to the full library of our of all of our videos. But anyway, I really appreciate you guys watching this one. Of course, email me, guys. I love it when you email me. I love interacting with you guys. It has become truly one of the best parts of my day. But yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bubbles out.